Looking at Amy's character through the longevity of Sega, her strength is one of the most underrated qualities that she possesses, and her hammer shows exactly that. Her Piko hammer isn't some weapon used to bonk people, it's one of the most interesting weapons in all of the Sonic series, especially when you can consider that Amy can seemingly pull it out of her own dimensional space. Hey guys, DDS here, and today we're going to be talking about how strong is Amy the Hedgehog. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Before we start throwing numbers around, we actually need to understand what we're really dealing with. Piko hammer is Amy's signature weapon, and unlike any normal hammer, its size isn't exactly consistent due to the hammer space. Sometimes it's the size of Amy herself, but in other games it's shown to be considerably longer and larger, and sometimes Amy just pulls it out of absolutely nowhere. Apparently it seems like a trend for all their Hedgehog characters to have some type of infinite dimensional storage. The hammer itself has been used for much more than simply just hitting enemies. It can be used to perform hammer jumps, spin around to create tornadoes, and uses such as propeller to fly, and even generating enough force to launch herself through air. So we are already dealing with a weapon that doesn't follow normal physics. And to break into the math, we're going to look into the IDW series. In chapter 60, with the fight between Amy and Metal Sonic, Amy jumps onto the building surface and smashes the ground with her Piko hammer, causing the ground section beneath Metal Sonic to crumble and bury him in rubble. Taking into account, we are going to have to take a few estimates. Looking at the ground of the panel, we can kind of estimate that the area for it is going to be around 25 meters cubed. We can infer from Google that 1 cubic meter of reinforced concrete is around 2,400 kilograms per meter cubed. So when we times 25 by 2,400, we get around 60,000 kilograms. That is 60 tons of concrete lying there. If we take our mass times gravity and times the height, which can be approximated to around 2 meters, that roughly gives us around 1.1 million joules. There's the exact equivalent of being hit by 6 2-ton SUVs. And the fact that Amy is just doing this by not even putting any effort into her swing is already a scary feat, and that's not even one of her most impressive feats. Her being able to just do that alone with her hammer isn't only concerning, it's also dangerous. We see her do it yet again in chapter 2 of IDW, when she already makes a crater trying to impress Sonic the Hedgehog. Now looking into the size of this crater, you can estimate that this crater is around 7 meters. To get the depth and the volume of this crater, we need to do the math. First, we need to do the volume. So we know the volume of this would be around 7.07 meters cubed, and roughly the mass of a rock per cubic meter is somewhere around 2.7 tons if you want to go that way. If we find the mass by doing density versus volume, we can get a whopping 19.1 kilograms. That is already almost 5 African elephants. Taking this into the same gravitational potential energy equation, we also get around a 50,000 joules of force. Now these itself are even not baseline feats, and this is just her swinging her hammer around aimlessly. Continuing on the IDW series, we are back at chapter 2 again, when Amy Rose launches a egg walker with her Piko hammer. But how much force is behind that hit? For us to find out, we first need to know the mass. An egg walker doesn't have a confirmed mass or canonical weight. We're gonna have to estimate how much the egg robots really weigh. For the difference between the lightweight, the heavyweights, and the medium weight badniks, the average weight is around 100 kilograms. So for us to work out how far the egg walker really travels, we can approximate from the image itself. In the panel, we see Amy knocking the egg walker into the wall, and is approximately around 2 meters. And here's where things start to get interesting. The egg walker reaches the wall before Amy has even completed a full swing of her hammer. So I'm going to use an estimated time of the acceleration of 0.05 seconds. So adding our calculations to find the acceleration, we get a 1060 meters per second. That's around 163 times the acceleration of Earth's gravity. Now using that, we have to think, how much force does Amy need to put to produce that acceleration? We have to take Newton's second law. Taking the acceleration and the mass, that gives us another whopping 160,000 newtons. Calculating the velocity using the acceleration and the time, that gives us a whopping 80 meters per second. That's approximately 288 kilometers per hour. So Amy has just roughly launched a 100 kilogram robot at 288 kilometers an hour. Calculating how much kinetic energy Amy generates through that hit, we also get a whopping 320,000 joules. She's not just giving the badnik a potential tap, potentially throwing in a 100 kilogram robot at nearly 300 kilometers per hour, with hundreds of thousands of joules behind that hit. and that is only just one of Amy Rose's feats. When we look at Amy's strength to the mainline Sonic games, she actually has a lot more feats of strength than people like to admit. And this is not even me getting into her full potential. Her attack potency is actually one of the top 5 strongest in all of the Sega timeline. She was able to do damage to the likes of classic Sonic and Knuckles in multiple events. And in Sonic Heroes, when she was able to defeat Team Sonic as Team Rose herself, and we've seen multiple iterations of her being able to use her abilities to win. A key example of this is Sonic Fighters. Now this is a very funny off game, but Amy was able to spawn a 16-ton weight out of nowhere and do damage to someone by doing that. That is a funny feat itself, but the fact that Amy can just pull that out her ass and that does damage to someone is a very concerning thing to be thinking about. And through all of this, she is still chasing after Sonic. The Sonic cast is lucky that Amy is who she is and not someone that focuses more on doing damage. We see Amy being able to use her tarot cards to enhance her speed and allow her to glide. This is without even bringing in the Piko hammer. If we can increase the speed, this itself could expand Amy's strength, because with speed being shortened, the strength and the force being put into something becomes greater. And it's because of this, I feel the Sonic cast is lucky that Amy is who she is, because if she was to become a threat, not much of them could stop her. Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That was a long video, I think. It's probably gonna be like 2 minutes. But I do hope you guys like watching these videos. Also, I did find out YouTube is changing their monetization thing. Now, if I do not reach 4K watch hours before February of next year, I will have to get 8K
You what?
monetized. So if you guys do love these videos, please make sure to watch them. And I need to hit 4K before next year. So that is now the new goal for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And just like that, DDS out.